So this is game number 1 of a best of 5 finals of the Go for SC2 monthly. I'm Madals, and spawning in the top right hand position of the map, which is Yonsu, is the blue Terran player representing my insanity. None other than Jjakji. And his opponent, bottom left, green Zerg player representing Team Dignitas. It's Tefel. Now, anyone on the stream will know, or may have noticed, that I am a tiny bit more hyper. Because during that long break between the semi-finals and finals, I got myself not only a cup of tea and a yogurt, but also a protein bar. So I'm now stacked up on vitamins, minerals, protein, caffeine, sugar, and everything I could ever want. I'm buzzing. And I've also got an awesome game of StarCraft unfolding in front of me, so this should be absolutely spectacular. Really looking forward to it. Jjakji opening with a Rax first. Yonsu, when he played earlier, he opened CC first. Clearly fearing the aggression that Tefel sometimes throws out. And boy, does Tefel sometimes throw it out. Actually opening pool first, which is like hardly ever seen in ZVT. ZVT is almost exclusively hatch pool. It's just so safe, you can do it so easily, and it's great. Interesting to see Tefel not doing it, maybe wanting to punish a potential CC first on the low ground. But, of course, Jjakji prepared, aware. These two both in WCS EU Challenger. I'll be casting that with Penguin on the 21st, 22nd and 23rd of January, and the 3rd, 4th and 5th of February. It's going to be swish. It decides who goes up into Premier, because the current Premier people face off against Challenger people, and it's confusing. Anyone who knows me knows that I struggle with brackets, anything shy of just a single elimination, but somehow people are deciding on who goes into Premier. And it's magic. I'm going to try and wrap my head around it over the next kind of 10 days before I actually have to explain it to quite a few thousand people. But needless to say, well, if anyone wants to give me some pointers, send me a tweet. If you can do it in 140 characters, I would love that, because I can probably cope with that. Anyway, Tefel has expanded behind this. He's also busy getting down queens. Not too much else. Jjakji going to expand. Reaper on its way out. And yeah, this is normal times. Jjakji is getting scouted though. I believe he knew the Overlord was there as well. So all good. And yeah, everything is pretty cool. Anyway, at the moment we do see that this Reaper going to just come bouncing on in. Going to be like, yo, what's going on, Tefel? He's going to see that a Queen is there pretty early. The Queen was actually waiting for a Reaper to come up that way, which I find so hilarious. Just like, ah, oh, damn it. Also, I've never noticed creep spills down the side of that cliff. Interesting. Anyway, gas still coming down. Factory on its way. We should see a reactor added in because, of course, 2 more Hellions will be joined into the mix. Jjakji, once more, hiding that second Reaper, not wanting to give away his bag of tricks quite yet in the match, and revealed to Tefel that there's 2 Reapers, because 2 Reapers basically guarantees there's going to be 4 Hellions added into that mix, and then obviously some pressure coming. But for the moment, actually, we see that Tefel defending without a single Zergling, which is fairly impressive. And by fairly impressive, I mean very impressive. And by very impressive, I mean wow, much amaze. Okay, 3rd CC coming down from Jjakji though, so it's not going to be his Banshee follow-up that we've seen him do a couple of times so far tonight. Instead, he's just going to be going in with more pressure. The double Reaper is now going to be revealed. Still only drones and queens to defend with. Of course, that's fine. There's still 3 queens out. No more in production as of yet. May see some Zerglings added into the mix. Or not, or just more drones. God, Tefel is awesome. Anyway, all going solid over at Jjakji's side. His Hellion count is about to reach 2. It will then double to 4, and that's when pressure will be applied. Tefel not yet trying to take up his 3rd base because he's got a Roach Warren on its way. That is very fun, and it also completes this wall off, which means that he's safe from the Hellions. Unfortunately, he's not safe from Reapers. They sneak in there, get a drone kill, finally doing something successfully. They're like the low achievers of the group, those 2 Reapers, but they're making a comeback. The Queen gets in position just in time to block out, obviously, these Reapers and Hellions getting in. Unfortunately, the Reapers can heal up pretty quick, and this is the downside of this push, or defending with only Queens, is of course the damage can be very potent. Tefel having to pull drones, which is never ideal. Loses a Queen, loses another drone. 14 Lings are in production, but this is a tight little choke that now works to Tefel's disadvantage until those Roaches are out, because any Zerglings that try and speed through there line up, and of course they line up into giant flames, which just roast everything to death. Hellions coming around the side. Jjakji still putting on the pressure. One Reaper very low on health, but it's able to get away. Will heal up with combat drugs, nice and quick. But with a lot of roaches coming out, this is shut down. Roaches just demolish Reaper Hellion play. However, I'd argue that Jjakji's done more than enough. He's killed off a couple of queens. He's killed off a couple of drones. He's taken absolutely no losses, but dealt 706. He's killed, what is that, 14 Zerglings, and apparently 9 roaches. I don't think this unit counter is working properly. 9 roaches have not died. Okay, but anyway, this is some fairly interesting stuff going on here, and as we see more moving across the map, a push coming down from Tefel. Will Jjakji be able to defend? Well, he's already repairing up his Hellions. He's adding in a bunker to the mix and a couple more barracks just to try and make it a bit more strong. But with one Marauder there and now the wall off complete, I think Jjakji should be okay. That Marauder will be able to scare off the roaches for quite a while, especially if repairs come down on that bunker. Of course, good surface area available for the SCVs to hug round. One drone was dying as it went to make a third, so Tefel's third being heavily delayed by going for this big roach play, and unfortunately it didn't do anything. So I'd say Jjakji definitely in a comfortable spot. He's got his third orbit command already down. His worker count is only 9 behind that of the Zerg player, but Tefel is teching nicely. He's got his lair down. He's got obviously the 1-1 upgrades coming. The missile attack upgrade is getting researched, so it suggests that Tefel going to be looking to get more roaches out. Maybe even go Roach Hydra, which is quite viable if it's mech coming down, but if it's a biomine, not as good. This Reaper's still trying to find a way through, but unfortunately Roach is preempting its every move, will snipe it down. And Jjakji, unfortunately, only has 1 Reaper remaining. But he's done a good job. Let's face it, even though Tefel is up at 64 workers, I present to you oversaturation. Currently long distance mining with a good number of them. Basically, all 16 long distance mining that should be at that third, because anything else would be inefficient. So he's got to wait for that hatchery to be done. But for the moment, Jjakji moving across the map. There aren't any medevacs with this push, but there is a tank. And this is actually a very scary composition with the tank there. The siege damage against the roaches, massive. The Marauder count at 5. Stim is done. 1-1 upgrades are done. That tank gets into a beautiful position. And of course, Marauders can now just start chipping away at that hatchery while sitting in the safety of that siege tank, because if the roaches decide to move forward, they just hide backwards. So this hatch could be in a lot of problems now. The roaches moving forward, the tank fire going to keep coming. The important thing is Jjakji can't get around it. 11 more roaches on their way through. The tank damage still dealing decent shots. The Marauders chipping through, stimming his units across just to try and keep that tank up as long as possible. This trade should be relatively effective. Another tank coming across the map, but will now have to retreat. Unfortunately, roach speed is getting very close to done, so I think a couple more of these Marauders will get taken out. The third base, if Tefel does manage to scout it down, could be in problems too. So Jjakji kind of just hoping that he doesn't go and take a little meander over there to see what's happening. So, this is still looking pretty solid for Tefel. Unfortunately, Jjakji now moving across the tank, not sieged up yet. Won't have time to siege, got to go for the straight damage. Unfortunately, Tefel was on move command, not attack command, which means that a lot of those roaches died unnecessarily. The rock tower going to go down, and that buys an extra layer of defense for Jjakji here. Got to just be a bit careful of where these roaches are going to go, but he sees the rock tower getting attacked, so sieges up those tanks. 2 shots go down, another roach dies, and really, Jjakji just staying on top of things. The 2-2 upgrades are coming down at the moment, though, from Tefel. He's got the groove spine upgrades for those Hydralisks. But Tefel, he's firmly going bio tank at the moment. And that means Roach Hydra is not the most effective way. Without Banelings to really take out the Marines, that's where you start running with some problems. Fungal growth will help, but whether it's enough, we'll have to keep a close eye on. But for the moment, Jjakji's worker count is actually above that of Tefel still. 77 to 71. Massive lead there for Jjakji when you factor in the mules as well. If we take a look at how that actually plays out in the income, we can see the Jjakji mining about 800 more minerals a minute at the moment. So, brief pause coming down from Tefel at the moment. Not quite sure why, but I'm sure he will reveal all when needed. Perhaps some kind of technical issue. However, he is getting down 15 Hydras, as well as that infestation pit, most likely going up into either Vipers or getting some infestors down for fungal growths. Now, this is a good little time to recap what we've seen so far. So remember the pressure early on from Jjakji came in, picked off a lot of lings, but not much else. But it was a very cost-effective trade. Now, that followed up with a great little push with one tank, a decent number of marauders and some marines to the third. And while the third stayed up, more good damage was done by Jjakji, and he's able to secure up his third base because of that. So that's really how he got here. Tefel's also been forced to make a lot of units. He wanted to go for some roach aggression, but Tefel was unable to make that work for him. And so that meant that he invested a lot in units, which admittedly didn't die, but still were not drones. Medevac having to boost away as Hydralisks start chipping away at that drop. Nothing going down though for Jjakji once again, so he's being very good with his conservation of units. The infestation pit researching pathogen glands now, as we can see, as well as the hive coming out now for Tefel. Dropping to the high ground is going to take quite a bit of damage, but tank siege up in a good position. They can start shelling away at this third, which is why it's not the ideal third base to take, simply because of this. And Jjakji can now just start working away at that hatchery. However, Tefel is getting ready to go for the sandwich maneuver, trying to bring those Hydralisks in from the back, but the timing's not quite perfect. The tank's able to get a lot of sieging. Reinforcements are being taken down, but unfortunately for Tefel, his army just disintegrating. GG called, and Jjakji takes game number 1 of this best of 5.